My last experience with the Jennifer Lopez movie left much to be desired, so I approached her new Netflix sci-fi movie, Atlas, with curious optimism. Despite my reservations, I was curious to see how Lopez would fare in a science fiction setting, especially in a movie that has intense action and futuristic themes. Now, Atlas brings a flurry of shootouts, explosions, and high-stakes drama. The film is set in a dystopian future where artificial intelligence has become a significant threat, and Lopez's character, Atlas, must navigate this treacherous landscape to save humanity. Can this action-packed narrative hold your attention and deliver a satisfying sci-fi experience? Humanity's survival is at stake as AI technology spirals out of control. In Atlas, Jennifer Lopez stars as the main character, a battle-hardened soldier in a future where artificial intelligence has taken over. Atlas finds herself in a desperate fight to save humanity from an AI determined to eradicate human life. As Atlas grapples with the increasingly dominant AI, she must navigate a series of high-stake battles, intense shootouts, and complex moral dilemmas. The central conflict revolves around her efforts to thwart the AI's plan whilst dealing with her own personal traumas and the consequences of the AI's actions on the human race. Set within a dystopian future, Atlas explores themes of survival, resistance, and ethical implications of advanced technology. The film delves deep into the dark side of AI and its potential to turn against humanity, offering a thrilling and thought-provoking narrative. Now, in previous Jennifer Lopez movies, I have been overwhelmed, and because of that, I was hesitant, but I was also intrigued to see her take on the sci-fi role in the Netflix movie Atlas. Having witnessed her performances in less than stellar roles, I wondered if her new venture into science fiction, filled with intense shootouts and explosions, would finally showcase her talents effectively. Despite my initial doubts, Atlas manages to surprise with its thrilling sequences and Lopez's commanding performance. The narrative, while somewhat familiar in its themes, offers enough twists and turns to keep the viewer engaged. And I do think it's a refreshing take for the sci-fi genre. We're getting roughly an hour and 50 minutes with this Netflix movie. Now, the storyline for this movie is pretty interesting. I mean, Netflix have done some seriously cool things here, with it being centered around a future where artificial intelligence is literally going to take over the world and wipe humanity off the face of the world. Now, the really cool thing about this movie is that it draws parallels between current discussions about the ethical implications of advanced AI technology. As society grapples with the increasing presence of AI in everyday life, we journey with Atlas as we explore the consequences of these advancements, making the storyline both thrilling and thought-provoking. Now, for me, the storyline is pretty interesting, especially with what's going on in the world today, and it all revolves around the feel of AI in the future and making that realistic connection to the present. The rise of AI is a very, very worrying one. We could go in any direction, and I think that Netflix have done something really cool here. They've released it at a time where AI is on the rise. We all know that. And they've released this movie at a time where the relevancy and relatability to the movie is at an all-time high. And the other thing I like about the movie is that there's steady pacing. We're brought into things in a natural way and no stones left unturned. Now, for me, Netflix have been making some interesting moves with bringing out a lot of movies that have a lot of relevancy that take place in today's world. We've seen it, for example, with The Kitchen having relevancy for when the cost of living crisis kicked off. Now, I did find it really engaging to think that AI in today's world is a massive disruption. And what Atlas does really well is that you start to see what that future could look like one of those routes into the future, a potential path that we could all be finding ourselves in. And the thing is, we're already seeing it in today's world. You can argue that there's loads of different implications that are sort of adding relevancy to why we are where we are with the problems that we all face in society, but a major one is all to do with AI as well, because we've come into that phase where the technology has been introduced. We're finding more productive ways to get stuff done at a quicker rate thanks to AI. But with that being said, it means that we have decreased number of resources that are needed to be able to do all of this work. Because you pile on more work to an individual, they're able to handle more. And the other thing I really liked about this movie was the surprising twist with the main character, Atlas Shepard. And it was one that I just didn't see coming. I knew that she played a part and she was the cause of reasoning behind the turn of events that were taking place, but I didn't know that she was the cause to that level of magnitude to the outcomes of the events that took place. And it was quite pivotal. And the other thing that's really cool about this movie is that every time there might be a moment where the movie starts to lose the audience, they bring you back into being engaged in the movie. And I thought that was a good touch. Now for me, the movie ran well. Where confusion might have started to seep in, they managed to bring it back and fill in the gap that they had created. We did have questions that rose throughout the movie, but what was done well was when those questions had arisen, they managed to fill those gaps, making you feel a good sense of closure by the end of the movie, unlike other Netflix movies that have been released. When it comes to lingering questions, I do have a couple, but with the intention of wanting to see more. How does the world of Atlas function outside of the main plot? Why does the supposedly advanced AI make seemingly basic mistakes, like forgetting essential steps in procedure? And what are the broader implications of the film's events on the world? Now, the main stars of the movie: Jennifer Lopez as Atlas Shepard, Sims Liu as Harlem Shepard, Lana Parrilla as Val Shepard, Mark Strong as General Booth, Abraham Poplar as Casca Decius, Greg Cohen as the AI pilot Smith, and Sterling K. Brown as Colonial Elias Banks. Now for me, the ones to watch are Atlas, Harlan, Smith, the AI pilot, and Elias Banks. The ones to watch, out of the ones to watch, I would have to say Atlas Shepard and Smith, the AI pilot. Atlas is our main character, and she's wrapped in emotion that are all to do with her past experiences, which were brought more and more into the fold as we progress through the story. And Smith, the AI pilot, is a very interesting character, because in all of this we're seeing AI at its most villainous state, but Smith provides that other side of the coin where we're seeing the bright and the good side of AI in comparison. And it's really cool to see that character growth from the AI. Now, we have particular character development in this movie, and some more than others. Atlas Shepard, played by Jennifer Lopez, is on a mission to track down her AI brother, Harlan, who is an AI terrorist. And what I do like about Atlas as a character is the connection that we're able to make with her, because she is wrapped in emotion, and the audience is slowly brought closer and closer to Atlas as we progress through the story arc. Her distrust for AI is massive in the early stages of the movie, gradually easing as we move through the story's arc when she's paired with the AI pilot Smith. Now, Sims Liu, acting as Harlan Shepard, is a very interesting character, but the annoying thing is we don't really get to see him until the latter stages of the movie, and I really would have wanted to see more of this character. What's a real eye-opener in this movie is when we're finally brought into the fold with why Harlan's doing what he's doing, and that, coupled with the real cause behind what he's doing and who set these events in motion, are an exciting twist. When we do get to see Harlan, it is pretty interesting, because every time he comes one-to-one with a human, one that he cares about, that is, and we are literally thinking he's going to give us some sort of emotion, he doesn't. It's incredible. His own sister, or his supposed sister. And I really like that from the movie, because it keeps you engaged and makes you think, oh my god, I can't believe it. In your mind, that is. And it becomes nail-biting stuff when you think about the motivations and objectives that he has. And when you think about where we are in our AI journey, in our world, and what has already started to happen, it makes you think, how far will we go with AI? Now for me, the beginning of Atlas feels a little disjointed. There seem to be abrupt scene changes that transport the audience into new locations, and characters without sufficient context, making it challenging to follow the timeline and the setting initially. This lack of coherence makes it difficult to determine if the events are flashbacks or occurring simultaneously, which disrupts the storytelling flow. However, as the story progresses, these transitions start to smooth out, and the story begins to gel more cohesively. Atlas introduces a gripping mystery around the midpoint, which significantly increases the film's intrigue. This mystery involves some inhabitants left behind by the protagonists, adding layers to the storyline and deepening the narrative's complexity. Now, outside of the two lead characters, I did like Casca, who's played by Abraham Poplar, and the pilot Smith, played by Greg Cohen. Casca is sort of like the right-hand man to Harlan, and it's really cool to see that he confronts Atlas several times and playing a pivotal role in the AI protagonist wanting to wipe out humanity. Now, the AI pilot Smith is paired with Atlas Shepard as she sets out on her mission. Smith plays an interesting role and conveys the more slightly emotional side of the AI. He's continuously shut out by Atlas in this movie, but it's really enjoyable to see the development by the time we get to the end of the movie, as the two's relationship has developed in line with the story arc. Now, for me, I thought there was some good visuals in this movie, but I can't help but point out that on more than one occasion in this movie, it almost feels like you're in a video game. Now, we get 2 planets in this movie. Planet Earth is the first, and it's quite cool to see. It's a cool prediction of how the modern world will look in the future, as we see enhancements through technology. Then you get the planet that Harlan's hiding out on, which is GR39. And this planet is a little bit strange. I mean, it's a bit of a mix of everything, right? You've got mountain ranges, you've got desert, you've got forest, you've got wasteland, and then you've got some sort of little city that the AI protagonists have created. Now, we have to talk about the weapons in this movie. Wow. There were loads. I really enjoyed all of the endless weapons in our arsenal and all of the explosions introduced into the movie, because it just made it all that more entertaining. Now, there's a really cool piece where Atlas is in her robot AI with Smith, and she's downloading. She's finally letting him in to a certain degree. And then she's sort of downloading all of this information now with regards to the weapon system that she has available. And my God, there are loads for our enjoyment to see and witness being used in action. And I think they had a really good balance between deep and meaningful storyline coupled nicely with action. And we didn't see too much of one outweighing the other. Now, I thought they did well in not providing too much overkill when it came to the cinematography, but a bit too video gamey at times. I really do like what they've done when it comes to a prediction of what our future world could look like. But you can't help but think how standout it is when it comes to you thinking that you're playing your PlayStation or Xbox. And this is especially emphasized when you get a zoomed out version when Atlas is in her AI robot maneuvering on the planet GR39. But all in all, I don't really think it has too much of an impact on the overall outcome of the movie. Now, for me, I thought this was a good and clever movie. It really emphasized on relatability. Netflix are showing their cards, aiming to bring out movies with a lot of relatability to them, based on the world we live in today. For example, The Kitchen was brought out at a time where we just came into the cost of living crisis. And in this case, it's the rise of AI, which makes it even more entertaining when you start to think and wonder, what if? Overall, I found the movie to be engaging and insightful. The storyline of the movie is interesting as it makes your mind start to wonder about what could really happen in the future if we're not careful. The character development for Atlas was really good, but I thought that they could have pushed a little bit more when it came to other characters, like Harlan. I really would have liked to see more from him. When it comes to the visual and cinematography, even though I thought that at times it felt like you're in a video game, they do have some interesting landscapes. I do think that they could have had a little bit more into this, just to increase the level of quality. But if I reflect on this as a whole, for me, I found it to be enjoyable because I like the added wondering that it leaves you with in your head, thinking what could happen and what our future could be like. With the rise of AI, it's a scary thought to think what could be if we as a human race are not responsible. I give Atlas a 3 out of 5 buckets, meaning it's a binge watching 50-50. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think the future holds with regards to AI. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to smash a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and follow us on all social media channels to stay up to date with the latest content. I'm Matthew. This is Binge Watcher. Thanks for binging with me.